All right, this is part two from our Go Wags Parent Night. And as I mentioned in the previous part, we're going to look at some other specific concepts from the book and just talk about how that can apply to our conversations with our kids when it comes to growth mindset ideas. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about early on in the book, it says that we frequently sell ourselves short when it comes to predicting our abilities. And so, if we feel like we are either born with it or not, if we have a fixed mindset, any kind of challenge or obstacle will frequently try to find blame or pass blame on something else because it couldn't possibly be that my child or I'm not good enough to win this game. There must have been something working against me. A little bit more on that in just a second, but let's talk about the fact that we consistently sell ourselves short. I don't know about you, but when I think about things that I think people are born with, I would say that, yeah, I think the ability to dance or the ability to be an artist there's something inside of you. There's an innate ability there. Early on in the book, Dweck mentions or shows reference to this idea of artistic ability. So what you see here is a drawing of a self-portrait. The picture on the left is a self-portrait done on Monday, and the picture on the right was that same artist or person drawing their self-portrait a second time, but after 4 days of instruction from a professional artist. So think about this. What you see here on the left, that was the self-portrait on Monday. They take one class on pencil drawing, self-portraits, what to do, what not to do. They go at it and look at the difference in just 4 days. Again, a lot of us probably have a fixed mindset when it comes to artistic ability, but when you see this, boy, with the right coaching, the right feedback, the right instruction, we kind of we go way beyond what we think we're capable of. So that being said, I said that if you have a fixed mindset, oftentimes you'll be quick to blame and find others to blame for lack of success. So some of these scenes you will see on on tournament Saturday and tournament Sunday when your kids go to travel tournaments in youth baseball, football, basketball, fill in the blank. This idea that, yeah, you're to blame, you're the reason that we're not being successful. You, the referee, you, the umpire, you, the fill in the blank. And so I have to tell you, I did share a story at Go Wags Parent Night where I talked about being part of conversations where, maybe we had lost a soccer game 5-1 and hearing parents say that, well, I heard the referee was from Maryland and our opponents were from Maryland. So clearly the referee wanted the Maryland team to win. Or, okay, we got our butts kicked 5-1, but he missed that one offsides call. Can you believe they blew that call? That was a game changer. Like, we lost 5-1. So maybe there was a call that didn't go our way. I'm sure that happens. I'd argue that ultimately a lot of calls that go against you, it balances out or evens out in time. But the point being that when we model this in front of our kids, we are kind of enabling that fixed mindset. We are telling them, yeah, yes, son, it's not you. It's not that you're not good enough. It's that umpire took the game from us. And so you begin to have these conversations and they're not productive to creating a great athlete or a great student. So what I just described to you can be commonly known as, or is commonly known as the dreaded drama triangle or the Karpman drama triangle. And basically it's this idea that drama builds inside this triangle when we see ourselves as a victim. There's not much I can do. I'm powerless. Someone has taken away my dreams. Someone has taken away my ability to win this game and I'm a victim. And oftentimes we will look to a rescuer. We'll look to someone else to agree with us. And we want you to say, no, you're right. Poor you. You're absolutely right. That persecutor is a horrible person. That persecutor being the person that is the problem, the person that keeps me down as the victim. Oftentimes the persecutor could be another coach or it could be an umpire. What I'm telling you here today is that, yes, you're going to have these conversations, you're going to hear them, but instead of playing the role as like an empathizer, how about being a coach? And so when that victim comes to you and makes the statement that, this other person is keeping them down, let them know that like how they choose to respond to that situation, it's up to them. So they create the scenario. It's not so much that they're a victim, but how they respond to it in their mind is going to dictate where this goes. And instead of looking at that persecutor as a person that's just out to get them, look at it as a challenge. Yep, that umpire strike zone may not be consistent, but both teams have to deal with it. So let's do the best that we can and try to focus on what we can control. These are the kind of things that we can tell our kids that are going to help them in their development and not keep them back from the growth that we long for as parents and as coaches. I found this on Twitter from Kyle Wagner, who's one of the founding fathers of Go Wags Baseball. One of his teams was very successful in a PG tournament in 2016. You can see there that they were champions. And he put this on Twitter, and this is the statement that he made. What are some common traits that separate champions? Over all these years of coaching great athletes, it begins at home. If after the game the first instinct is to make excuses or protect or defer responsibility or accountability, growth cannot occur. As an athlete, you must be willing to fail to grow. Stop seeking the easier path. Enjoy the roadblocks. It makes success that much sweeter. And if you never succeed, then you may have to redefine success. I think those are great comments for us to think about as parents. It does start at home. What are the conversations that we're having after those difficult games? And what can we say to our kids so that they leave that feeling energized or excited to go to practice the next day, or to see that next game in the following weekend? So when you talk about a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, this is a short video clip I want to show you that basically breaks down all the different ways to view the success of others or mistakes or obstacles from a fixed versus a growth mindset. So take a look at this video. I think it does a good job summarizing it. I have to tell you, I love the last part of that video where it shows you that basically a fixed mindset has a very deterministic view of the world, whereas a growth mindset says, yeah, you're capable of achieving much more. Your life, your road hasn't been paved for you already. You can still decide which direction that road's going to go. I don't know about you, but I would much rather like to have those conversations with my kids as opposed to telling them, yeah, it stinks, buddy. You're probably right. You're never going to be as good of a baseball player, or I know that you got cut from the JV team. You're probably not going to make the varsity. I'll tell you what, I would much rather have those conversations to say, yeah, that's a hard obstacle, that's a challenge, but I think with some time and energy, the right coaching and the right mindset, willing to take feedback, yeah, I think we can get where we want to go. So to summarize what you just saw in the video, we talked about this at our meeting, just that this idea that kids sometimes see effort for the weak. In other words, like if I really have to work hard at something, I don't want others to see that, so I try to hide it. It's why I don't ask questions in the classroom. It's why I don't want anyone around when I'm in the cages at full reps. I want dad to lob up that meatball so I can just crush the ball over and over again in the net. I don't like it if the pitch isn't perfect because it looks like I'm not as successful. I'm not a successful hitter. So this idea that I have to work at something or work at my craft is not something that a lot of kids buy into if they have a fixed mindset. A growth mindset says, yeah, I love that. I love the sweat, the energy. If I swing and miss, bring the next pitch. I'm ready to go. Effort will ignite my ability. Challenges, if you have a fixed mindset, you stay away from them. You don't want to go to that difficult tournament. You don't want to play that good team because you're afraid of the result. You know that you probably are going to lose that game, or you might lose that game. So challenges are something you look to avoid. You love the easy road because that's when you are most likely to get the results that you want. Face that hard throwing, flame throwing left-handed pitcher. No thanks. I'll take that right-handed pitcher, little guy that's just barely getting it across the plate because I know that I'm going to be able to hit that with no problem. Growth mindset says, yeah, so it's going to be tough. I may strike out that first at bat against that difficult pitcher, but in the long run, this is what makes me better. When I go up against these challenges, I know that I can become a better hitter, better pitcher with those challenges in front of me. Mistakes, you better hide them. If the fixed mindset, it's just proof that I can't do it. A growth mindset says if I'm not making mistakes, then I'm not doing anything hard or difficult, and I'm not learning and growing. And finally, this last piece is a big part. Fixed mindset, you really aren't interested in feedback. In your mind, that person may just be a negative person. You know, I'm really tired of coach. All he tells me are all the things that I'm not good at. That may be a common viewpoint for someone with a fixed mindset. Growth mindset says, you know what? I can always get better. I'm going to take those suggestions. I'm going to work with them and see if I can make the necessary improvements.